It's a bad time, this time of year.
How many times is he gonna tell this story?
Oh, let him tell it. I love fairy tales.
This ain't no fairy tale, little girl. If you don't take it seriously, you're a fool!
The first Valentine's dance in 20 years has to be something special.
Oh, Flanders, you gotta get a lot of exercise if you're gonna grapple with Gretchen.
Oh, yeah? Well, I got a Valentine for her that she's never gonna forget.
Right to the heart, huh?
In this town on Valentine's Day, everybody loses their heart.
Roses are red, violets are blue. One is dead, and so are you.
It can't be happening again.
Stop!
It can't be happening again.
What's going on over in Valentine Bluffs? It looks like Harry Warden's back in town.
It happened once. It happened twice. Cancel the dance or it'll happen twice.
In the town of Valentine Bluffs, there are many ways to die. Take your pick. My Bloody Valentine.
Welcome everybody to the Cast from the Coast. My name is Adam Miles and I'm joined as always by Tim Johnson and Josh Lambert. How are you guys?
Ahoy.
Ahoy.
Ahoy,
Ahoy, ahoy. Josh, how are you? He just waves.
I've been told that if I don't have anything nice to say, to not say anything at all.
Oh, fuck off. Don't start with us already.
No, I'm good. I'm good. We watched this retro film.
Shit, man. You're going to get your ass kicked tonight. I'm telling you right now. We watched a retro film.
Let's fucking go on with the intro. What are we talking about
All
tonight?
right,
Come
ladies
on.
and gentlemen, in honor of the holiday which is upon us, we are watching My Bloody Valentine, the original, not that
1981.
not that garbage fucking remake with Jensen Ackles. I like Jensen Ackles, but not that garbage fucking remake. 1981's My Bloody Valentine.
That remake made me not like him.
Yeah, I know. I know. It was whatever. Moving the fuck on. Tim, take us out.
My Bloody Valentine, 1981. A decades-old folktale surrounding a deranged murderer killing those who celebrate Valentine's Day turns out to be a true legend when a group defies the killer's orders and people start turning up dead in the quiet town of Valentine's Bluff.
Perfect fucking name for that town, by the way, too. Not just, one of those...
Do you want to know what I noticed when we
What's that?
watched, though? The fucking, on the fucking sheriff's car, their police logo had a heart in it. And I never noticed that before.
I love that. Just the detail in this movie. And it's a crazy movie. It's a crazy movie. Okay. This is a classic that we have, in fact, reviewed on the show previously.
It's part of our revisited review, retro review, revisited review. I don't know what I called it in the thumbnail. It'll say below. Just look at the fucking
Our
thumbnail.
revisited review. It's
Okay,
it the
that
other
way.
way, but oh well. Yeah, this is that way. Okay, so yes, our revisited review, but it's it's an honorary thing because we watch this movie every year in honor of obviously Valentine's Day. Like almost anything else, you come up to a holiday, you're gonna watch something in honor of that. And this is a classic fucking Canadian horror.
Canadian.
Nova Scotia?
Not even
Maritime.
Canadian.
Maritime,
Maritimes.
Nova Scotia.
I just learned this about 7 minutes ago that this was filmed in the Sydney mines in New Brunswick,
Nova
apparently.
Scotia, Cape Breton.
Cape Breton.
Yes.
Cape Breton?
Which, funny enough, Tim and I visited this past year.
Yeah.
We went up to a convention in Sydney. Got up really early before the convention one morning and drove over to Valentine's Bluff. And found like the fucking police station and the store, the
Where the laundromat was.
yeah, stuff like that. And then we drove out to like the fucking the water side where some of those big scenes were filmed, looking out into like the harbor type area and stuff. It was pretty cool. It was fun.
I find that stuff very interesting to go to like the filming locations. I've done it with a few films, but that's really cool.
Yeah.
Well, it felt really cool, especially on that main street drag. I was like, oh man, like this literally, it was cool.
It felt like you were there,
Cool.
period. Because for a lot of people who don't really know, like small town Nova Scotia, not much
Has
changes,
changed,
over the ages. I mean, maybe a fresh coat of paint on most buildings, but the main drag of most of these places is going to look exactly the fucking same as when it was filmed way back when. So yeah, you get the same idea. That's crazy. All right, so let's talk first and foremost about the actual story. So, Tim, that was a great synopsis, but let's dive a little bit deeper into the actual tales and the story itself. So, the movie kicks off with a discussion about the man who went insane, Harry Warden, and the fact that the lore itself, which gets told a little bit throughout the movie, is that in the mines, the movie's obviously based around Valentine's Bluff, the Sydney mines as it is in real life, an open mine with an accident that had happened. And Harry Warden and a bunch of people were trapped in the mines, and while they were trapped, the town basically partied on Valentine's, and they never got them out for a while. And when they finally did find where they were, Harry was like the only survivor, and he had turned like cannibalistic and bloodthirsty and had like survived by like eating people and shit like this. So he was taken to a mental institution where like a year later, during the Valentine soiree that had occurred in Valentine's Bluff, he murdered people and went crazy, and obviously he was still crazy and he murdered people. So for 20 years they've basically said no fucking Valentine celebration in this town. It's kind of like the Footloose of the horror world.
I knew you were going to say Footloose. I
fucking
knew.
love Footloose, man. Fucking Footloose. But yeah, it's like the Footloose of the horror movie genre because, you just...
Fucking Footloose.
It's like the Great Value version
fuck
of Halloween,
off.
you mean.
No.
It's like the Canadian version of Halloween.
No.
Instead of killing on Halloween, he kills on Valentine's Day.
Yeah, but you know what? Okay, so this movie came out like in wake of Halloween and Friday the 13th and Black Christmas, and it made sense. And one thing, and I just want to throw it out there, one thing that I liked is most movies that are filmed in Canada, specifically like Nova Scotia, they usually disguise the fact that it's Canadian. It's supposed to be Maine, or it's supposed to be, someplace like that. But like they didn't give a fuck. They didn't disguise any of it, and I find that awesome because to me it's almost like a time capsule. Because I was like, what, 1981? Yeah. So I don't know. I just had to get that off my chest.
I kind of want to rewatch it and just see how much I recognize from around Nova Scotia. and how many things that I can spot out as being like Nova Scotian. Like I know you mentioned the Moosehead spear on the table, and I did see that.
And there's
And
also
it still
Keith's
didn't even-
beer and
Yeah, very cool.
SO Station.
Nova Scotia license plates.
Yep.
I didn't pick up on any of that when I watched it. That's so
it's
weird.
pretty cool.
I don't remember if there was any money exchange.
I don't recall the bills. That's for sure. No, but the lingo's there too, and the accents that are there for the Maritimers, as it were. So, so the story.
I don't think we sound like that though.
Not all of us, not all of us, but some do. So it takes place like 20 years later when the teens and not necessarily teens, like the young adults in the local area are kicking off with a Valentine's event saying, fuck the legend. It's just a legend. Nothing's happened in 20 years. We're going to do this anyway. And they're going to celebrate. And Harry Warden makes himself appear to kill people. So the lore comes to life. I love the fact that this had a whole lore and even a fucking theme song.
A theme song, a
folk theme song. The Tale of Harry Warden. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
It's awesome. That was a heavy breathing, Josh. No, it's great. But this was a first thing that, when I got to a certain age of watching this movie that I really started to appreciate was that they actually took a lot of time, whether it was, intentional or not, but there's a lot of detail to the lore and to what happens and how they built this world that Harry Warden lives in. Like I said, they got the lore itself, they got the theme song, they've got, everything that's going just right with the situation. And I thought it was great. So, Josh, you have an opinion on the story so far, I can tell you. Come on. Spit it out.
I don't understand why there's such a fascination with Valentine's Day. Like, that is the dumbest origin story for a horror villain of all time.
No.
And
I'm
you
sure
talk
there's
about
Uncle Sam.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
You can't fight me on that one.
it's not the
Ouija
dumbest
shark. Ouija shark.
Hey, Ouija
So
Shark
fucking excited about Ouija
is
Shark.
a 2020 masterpiece, and I will not stand for anything of the contrary. My big thing is the actors are like 30 years old, and they seem like they're playing 16-year-olds.
Well, they're definitely not 16-year-olds if they're working in the mines and, drinking beer at the local bars and shit. They're definitely, I just consider them young adults. They're probably early to mid-20s is what I'm assuming most of the characters are supposed to be.
Then why are they worried about a Valentine's Day dance?
Because they live in fucking Valentine's Bluff. It doesn't look like they're shit.
Small podunk town.
It's 1981. This is all they have.
Dude, there's
that
one scene where they're literally in a fucking scrapyard cooking meat in fucking tin trays on a fucking engine block. They don't have shit to do or shit places to go, man.
Okay, I'll give you that, I guess. I guess.
Fucking town was hot.
I
It's
don't
a
know.
big deal. They're all gonna score? Come on, man.
It's like the Annapolis Valley, but not.
Well, it is. It's like Valley in the
Valley
80s. But
That's right. I can say that because I live here, so and Josh used
Yeah.
to. Oh man, no story. I like the story. Tim, what do you have to add to the story?
I just like that it continued the trend of a killer wronged on a fucking holiday. It's simple. It doesn't need to be any more than that. Some of the characters are memorable. Josh is just being a dick. He's being hard on it to be hard on it, and that's cool.
That's fine.
I think again it comes down to rose-colored glasses, guys.
I
You
watched
guys
it last
saw this?
night. There was no rose-colored glasses. I watched a movie last night.
Yeah, but when's the first time you watched it?
I gotta admit, I was a little later in life when I watched this one for the first time.
Yeah, same with me. I was probably mid to late 20s.
I was teens, probably mid-teens.
Kind of when I got really into horror. I was probably like early 20s.
I don't know. It
So it
has
wasn't like
it
as
has
a
the
kid.
pacing issues that a lot of the older films have, and
Absolutely.
you can't knock it because that was the style at the time. So again, you can't necessarily compare it to nowadays, but our attention spans, or at least mine, is so short right now. Like I was watching it, and there was times where I was just like, "Holy fuck! What? Why? Why is there 3.5 minute scene of them playing pool and nothing happens for 3 minutes?"
It was a story. They were telling a story.
There's shit going on, and you're getting to know the characters.
Why is there 7 minutes of fucking old Myrtle hanging up decorations? Like, it doesn't need to happen.
It totally did. It totally did. All right. Well, you bring up something else that we need to fucking talk about. Then is the characters themselves. So let's jump over to characters.
Yep.
So,
Okay.
go
TJ.
ahead.
No, okay. I'm partial because his initials are my initials. So I was like, all right, you got an in.
Which one's TJ?
He's the one that was the fucking snappy dresser.
Yeah.
Snappy.
He was the ex-boyfriend that went away. He ends
Oh,
up with a
you mean the guy with the fucking ascot
Yeah.
and 8 buttons down on his shirt?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Ascot.
clown.
fucking fashion sense.
Clown. He's got
yeah.
like 8 buttons down on his plaid shirt and an ascot.
1981, buddy.
Yeah.
1981.
All right. TJ, yeah, kind of like the tortured soul.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, the torch.
he gets into it with people too, which is the funniest part of it. So,
Yeah.
Oh no, I don't have a lot of love for that character, but Hollis is my favorite character out of this movie, and I mentioned it before we even started going on here because he's like the guy who plays Hollis is Keith Knight is his name, and he's he's kind of Canadian royalty in a lot of ways when it comes to like some of these older movies and shit like this. He was in like Meatballs with Bill Murray, and he was in Class of 1984 as another character, but you'd almost not recognize him because like in this movie he's got like the glasses and the nice little twirled mustache, but in everything else he's like shaved down head and clean faced. You know, so you'd like almost not even recognize him. It's hilarious, but I like Hollis.
For the first like 2/3 of the movie, you just see him kind of in the background. He doesn't have any like lines until later on they kind of develop the character. And the whole time I'm just like, what? Who is this fucking buffoon in the background with the mustache and the leather vest?
Love it. The thing that I found is, all the characters in this movie are absolutely generic, very cookie cutter. That would be in horror movies at the time. Hollis was good. I think all the girls were okay. They did exactly what they were supposed to do. Axel. The fact that they named him Axel. I love that name, Axel. In fucking old school horror movie, I love it. Like, who names their kid Axel?
Lots of people in the 80s and the 70s, apparently. 60s even.
Well, in the 60s, I
60s
guess.
even,
Yeah, that would be 60s.
Because they were all 20 in the 80s.
It's true.
Yeah. Some people acted better than others.
That code for the acting was garbage.
The mayor. Oh my god, the mayor! Like when he first opens the box
and he's like,
and he's down.
It's happening again.
Oh god, it's happening again. Okay, I know my reaction if what the fuck? I'm throwing in shit, right?
Another heart.
God.
Oh no, a heart.
Yeah.
It's happening all over again.
It's happening all over. And there's like, and the guy driving's just kind of like, fuck. It's like, what?
Yeah. Don't pull over on that country road or nothing.
Exactly. Which we were on that road, Tim.
Yeah, obviously, because we had to go there. But like I said, I feel like we don't really have to talk that much about
the bad parts,
characters. Even though
you missed the best character in the whole movie.
Go ahead, tell him.
The old lady. What was her name? Myrtle or Meryl or something?
Shit! It was. Shit! What was her name?
I don't remember.
I wrote it down. Fucking Jesus Christ.
Myrtle or what? Mabel.
Fucking people.
Mabel.
There you go.
Okay, yeah. Mabel. Yeah, she was kind of funny.
Yeah, Mabel. She was my favorite. Then they
But
killed her.
but let's just take 1 second though. The only other character that I do want to kind of talk about is the persona of Harry Warden, because
Okay.
it is for a lot. This character is ingrained in horror history with the persona. This movie is apparently stupid successful in its current age too, in like Europe. This movie like makes rounds in like midnight movie showings. It's extremely popular on DVD and Blu-ray. People talk this movie up all the fucking time over in Europe. And apparently Harry Warden is like one of the more popular fucking fucking horror movie characters over there. He's up there with like Jason and Freddy and shit.
No.
Yes.
Well,
No.
Harry Warden is absolutely the inspiration for fucking Jason Voorhees. Absolutely. How they treated Jason in part 3 is exactly Harry. Like, I'm watching the kills, and I'm like, that's a Jason kill. That's a Jason kill. Like, it was very Jason Voorhees-esque.
Yeah, absolutely. The close-in shots, the slight out of focus, the stuff coming at you, like, you know...
Just the random, you know, elements being used to kill. You know what I mean? It's just
Using the environment, yeah.
Yeah, but I guarantee, fucking inspiration for Jason Voorhees. I mean, even though Friday the 13th came out first, Jason wasn't in that.
Yeah.
Right?
It's true. Okay, well,
You goddamn
then let's
right
talk
it's
about
true.
kills. Like just flat out.
Okay,
let's
then
just
let's
fucking
do
talk
it.
about the kills and the gore.
Square up, bud.
So
Square up.
I watched when I recently watched it again. I watched an uncut version that had like.
That's the only version.
Well, there was a version that was just released like a couple years ago, I think. And what it was they had a whole bunch of scenes that had never been in the original movie. That they didn't even clean them up. They were just kind of still shitty looking. So like you're watching the movie and you can see an obvious difference with this new scene that we put in here with more detail. And I think that kind of solidified that one of my favorite kills in this movie after watching it again was definitely the old man telling the lore when he gets the fucking pickaxe right up through the fucking jaw.
Oh,
and the eyeballs hanging out and shit. Because in the original version, you don't get that much detail. The pickaxe goes up and it's kind of like a cut. But in the version that I saw, it was like an extended version with those scenes, and he's like fucking dragging them around a little bit, and the fucking eyeballs like hanging out and shit. It's really cool looking.
The version I own is the one that you're talking about, where they didn't clean it up. But the version that I watched last night had all those scenes in it, but there was no obvious difference in the quality of.
So they cleaned them up and made them fit.
Yeah. And I mean, I know recently that it was Scream Factory, Shout Factory. I can't remember the name of the company. They re-released it, so.
Yeah, so it's probably going to be worth checking out a new copy of that then, with all that shit cleaned up.
So your favorite death is the pickaxe to the chin. Any other ones?
At this point, that's going to be my favorite one, but my second, well, I love them all so much.
You don't get a second.
Moving on. Tim, what's your favorite? Then talk about fucking kill scene.
I liked all of them.
Shut up.
I did. I liked all of them. I thought each one of them, they were, for 1981 standards, the kills were really good. Like, the gore effects were really good. I like the one where she gets the all the clothes start dropping and she gets put up on the pipe that's coming out the mouth and all that. I thought that was really good. Obviously the pickaxe is fucking phenomenal. But my favorite kill, and you don't see it happen, you just see the aftermath, was the fucking dryer.
Oh yeah.
That was
Mabel and the dryer, and she's fucking going around and like, yeah. It bothered me. Also, Hollis's fucking, like, just the fucking.
Well, it's the
Hollis getting it in the fucking head with the nail gun and shit. Gun. Yeah.
Well, you got to give him some fucking props. He takes 2 to the fucking head and still runs away before he drops.
Well, you also got to think, like, those two. Like, yes, someone could fucking survive getting a nail gun to the head.
Yeah.
If you shot him in the right spot and just it would fuck him up, obviously, but how did he die? He didn't die from that though.
No, he did.
Didn't he get I thought he got his throat slit or something.
He got the one in the temple and then one in the forehead
and the one in the center.
and then he ran away and he fell. Like when he got to his friends, he fell and he was like dead on the ground at that point.
All right.
See, now this is how I know our opinions differ so much. Because none of you picked the best death scene in this entire film.
Please proceed.
Was it?
A man was drowned in hot dog water.
Yeah, that was dope.
And no one brought this up.
No, I did technically, because I said that I enjoyed every one of the kills. But yes,
hot dog water.
The hot dog water was good.
To be drowned in, I think hot dog water is
boiling hot dog water.
And all the hot dogs are going to bubbling and shit.
Boiling hot dog water. Yeah.
No, that kill was great. But like I said,
and you saw it coming. You saw them there with the hot dogs and the water, and it's like, oh no.
The size of that fucking pot.
That's a good old corn boil pot, man.
That was a lot of fucking hot dogs, man.
I love that was their go-to. They all got the munchies, despite never smoking dope in the movie at any point. They constantly mention how they had the munchies, though. And their go-to is they go into this industrial kitchen, and there's just 100 hot dogs ready to go.
I don't think they maybe were allowed to show that at that time.
Maybe.
Evil Dead did.
Yeah, but Evil Dead could have fucking passed that off as just a rolled cigarette, too. Because I don't remember going, hey, this is really good weed, man, in Evil Dead. You know what I mean?
Yeah, true.
But, no, you're right. Like, yeah, because...
They mention it. They make a point to mention it like 8 times.
My kid goes...
I got the munchies so bad.
Goes, who says that? Who says they got the munchies? I go, you never heard that term before? He's like, no. Who says that? I was like, I say
everybody
that all the time.
Fucking says that.
I say that all the time. I got the munchies, and it's only then. It's not like a normal day, and I'm kind of hungry.
Got the munchies.
No, you only say that when you're high.
Shit, really funny. But actually, the follow up to the hot dog death when they what is it? They find him in the fucking fridge or whatever. Yeah, I like that too.
Like little icicles hanging off his nose.
Exactly. It's like frozen hot dog water.
30 minutes.
Hi everybody, this is Vincent DeSanti, the writer and director of Friday the 13th fan film Never Hike Alone, and you are listening to the great commentary of They Cast from the Coast. Thanks for listening, and don't forget to check out Never Hike Alone, which is streaming for free on YouTube right now.
Nice. All right, so deaths. Well, that's a good range of deaths that everybody has that are kind of favorites. And I think previously I had preferred the one with the pipe. I think I'd said before that was my.
That is good. It was a really good effect, and the dryer one was a really good effect. You got to.
Thing that I actually. And I was wondering, I was like, how did they do that? Because I don't think they had it in the budget to make a fucking dummy.
No, they killed the lady in the dryer.
No, I'm talking about the pipe.
Oh.
Like, they
killed the lady and stuck her on a pipe.
Yeah, okay.
That makes Canadian.
Sense. Yeah.
It was just reborn in a pool of maple syrup.
The woman that they put in the... Yeah.
Is that how we're spawned?
They filmed the pipe scene first, and then they put her body in the dryer, so it was the same body, just that's how it goes. Cost effective, right? Got to be good on that. Yeah. So, all right. So the effects worked, the death was great, and everything else. So, I mean, really, guys, open conversation here about the movie. Josh, I really want to kind of hear what you have to say.
So
I don't, because I feel like he's going to ruin it for me.
No, but it's really not that bad as I'm making it out to be. Just that a lot of the timing, like I've mentioned already, is that classic horror movies. And without having seen it when I was 16, 15, really developing into like horror, I don't have those rose-colored glasses for this classic, similar to Black Christmas. It's just one of those classic movies that I never watched growing up. So it's.
Are you glad you watched it though?
Yeah, no, it's... Am I going to watch it every Valentine's Day?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. You
Maybe.
should.
Just because.
I guarantee the next time you watch it, you're going to enjoy it more.
I probably will, especially now knowing that it was Maritime produced. That's definitely adds an aspect of cool to it. I still don't like the character, like the killer. I don't really get it. The origin story just seems weak to me. It's like they just took Halloween and took that origin story and said, "Oh, instead it's Valentine's Day."
But you got to think.
But that's how they did it back then.
I know.
But it isn't.
I know.
But it isn't just that's how they did it for movies. Think about this for a second. Small town lore, small town stories, right? They couldn't even.
But they played it up so much, like the drunk guy at the bar. Oh yeah, you kids don't know about the
You
Valentine's
can't tell
Day
me that you've
murders.
never met somebody like that.
No, because that person doesn't exist.
Dude, I've totally fucking met people like that. That like, but it.
I got family members.
But
like
it isn't
that.
always about some murder. It's like, oh, you can't do that. That's bad luck. And they've always got a fucking story and a lore behind something, right? It just so happens that this town has this lore, this story about this one guy, and the best part about the story is, and I'm just going to throw this out there, is that it's got holes all over the fucking story. Because he goes to the mental institution, and then he escapes a year later, and then he's fucking on the lam from the cops for 20 years, coming back every year to make sure that they don't celebrate Valentine's Day, and if they do, he's going to kill people.
Dumb.
It is an obvious fucking weird story on purpose.
But that's not the fucking real. That's not really what happened.
No, but that's how he tells the story.
Yeah, but that's fucking some old fucking bartender.
Yeah.
But
it.
So the pacing issues, some of the acting really isn't the greatest.
No,
again, it's a small time Canadian horror.
No.
What are you talking about? Oscar fucking worthy, buddy.
Yeah, as far as character development, it is pretty stale. But again, it's because it's been done 1,000 times since then. So I'm sure at the time this film would have been at the peak of its popularity, and particularly in the Maritimes, to see a horror film in the 80s that was produced there at the height of the slasher momentum. It would have been pretty cool. And especially if you grew up in a mining town, which there's a few of in the Maritimes. So. Yeah. I don't know.
So that's.
I don't have horrible things to say about this film. It's just.
Do you get notes?
I definitely have
well,
notes. It's a.
Let's hear the notes.
It's a product of its time, I'll say for sure.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. It's like a time capsule, and that's part of the reason I love it.
That's the thing, is a product of its time is not necessarily a bad thing.
No, and it's not. My attention span is just too short for.
All right, continue, Josh. Your notes. Josh's notes, everybody.
My first note was, wow, wasn't expecting that. Off to a good start. That would have been when there was a hot chick in the mines.
He gets pissed off when
and then she got murdered.
The little heart tattoo.
And the little heart.
So he stabs her boobie.
But then she ruined it by having a really weird scream and death. That was really weird.
But it cut to the fucking title. Yeah.
And okay, this is weird. There's some really kinky gas mask stuff going on. She's like rubbing the hose with the gas mask, and it got really weird really quick.
Yep.
And then there would have just, this town really likes Valentine's Day, and it would have been just, there was an opening shot of just all this decorations. That's before they kind of introduce Mabel. And then I wrote kudos to Mabel, because apparently she did all the fucking work. She cut out all these little thousands of hearts and stuck them all around the fucking town. With her fucking arthritis or her knitting hands.
She fucking loved Valentine's Day.
Didn't she? And she's old. She would have been around when the partying down. It's her fault, really, when you think about this.
Yeah.
She would have been probably like 30 years old, partying hard.
Survivor's guilt. She got some of that going.
Someone said, I'm going to go for another beer and a good nose. That's probably my favorite line from this film. That is Canadian acting at its finest right there. that whoever wrote that dialogue, I'm actually hoping it wasn't written. I hope that was off the cuff by whoever
Nice.
said that.
Probably. You know what? We're going to keep that, guys. Keep it going. Keep it going.
Keep rolling.
Yeah.
That was a pretty chill reaction to finding a person's heart in a box.
Thank you. That was my only thing last night when I watched it again.
Yeah.
What kind of fucking reaction is that? Oh dear God.
Oh God.
Oh.
It's happening again. And this was probably the most senior actor on the fucking set, other than Mabel.
I just like the following shot where the car spins around and you got the fucking dogs from the town go chasing.
I have
It's just
that
like
right
great.
here. A dog chasing after the police truck. I'd like to think this is not in the script, and that's actually just that neighbor's dog chasing the truck.
It absolutely was.
I hope so. And then I just wrote, what a strange origin story. So this would have been when they were first explaining the origin story.
I'll tell you the story of Harry Warden.
And then they go into like the autopsy room, and the guy who tears apart bodies is just like, what the hell are you guys doing with a loose heart?
Yes, it's a human heart.
What?
Like, okay.
What? Like, again, I feel like they just got the butcher down the street, and they're like, you got a white coat, right? Can you act in this film for us? All you got to say is this line.
Probably.
Yeah.
And then I wrote, don't kill Mabel, you heartless bastard. Because there's a couple scenes with him, like, stalking Mabel.
Just going to call her Aunt Mabel from now on.
Yeah. She was the best character, I think, because we got that awesome scene in the laundromat of her corpse just... And you see the horribly acted fucking mayor or the detective, whichever goofball it was, like, smelling around. He's smelling the shirts and stuff. He's like, something in here smells horrible. Oh, it's the fucking rotting corpse in the
burning rotting corpse
with all the fucking steam coming from it and shit.
At one point, someone said, "Don't go poking my meat." I think that's when they were cooking the meat on the
don't go
radiator.
poking my meat. Did you get me the beef or the
don't go
turkey? I
poking my
got you
meat.
turkey.
Yeah. Don't go poking my meat. What a bunch of chuckleheads. So that'd be those fellas there. This administration seems very incompetent. So that would have been when they were calling the mental institution. They're like, we don't know. We'll call you back later.
Oh,
no one's here.
He's either in the cell or on the slab.
Yeah. Not sure. We'll let you know when the doctor's in. It's just a matter of life and death, investigation, but...
Doesn't matter.
Someone said, I might not get out alive, quote, from the party because she was dressed so hot.
Hey, Patty was kind of a looker. She was my favorite out of all the girls.
I might not get out alive.
Foreshadowing there.
Yep, she was.
It's a horror movie.
That's funny.
Who wrote
I
that?
think that she was planning on getting gangbanged or something.
For fuck's sake.
Wow. Yikes.
That's what I think she was. I'm
Big
not going
oof.
to get out of their life.
I see what you're doing there, writers, I said. And then I wrote, Mabel in the dryer. Sad face. Great effects, though. And then I wrote, this was just an epiphany I had. This seems like a really easy fix. No dance equals no murder. Just don't do the dances. Seems like a really easy way to fix this whole problem.
Yeah.
Okay. No dances fixes the
And
problem.
then, yeah, seems pretty self-explanatory. I don't know. This town is making a lot of bad decisions. And then I wrote, oh, it's just chocolate. And I said, oh, poor Mabel. Sad face. That's when they found the box of chocolates that she had left for the mayor.
Aw. Okay.
Sad face.
Sad face.
Didn't they listen? There was clearly to be no parties. This is clearly a party. No good
This
will
is
come
clearly a
of this.
party.
I wrote drowning in hot dog water. The new worst way to die on my top 10. This town just has packs and packs of wild fucking dogs.
There's more of them running around barking. Oh, Nova Scotia.
I wrote, finally, the fucking vested mustachio fellow has some lines.
Hollis!
That would be your favorite there,
Yeah.
Hollis.
Hollis is
And
great.
then I wrote, the vested mustachio comes in with a full Nelson to break these two apart, but can't connect his fingers together because he's too fat. if you actually watch, he's trying to put the full Nelson on him, and he can't reach his own arms because the guy's shoulders are so broad, and he's just a short, potly pillow. And I wrote, I refuse to believe that pleather vest and plaid jackets were ever in style at the same time.
Maybe in Sydney Mines.
Nova Scotia, buddy.
He made her into a fountain. Very cool effects.
Yes, yeah.
And then I wrote, awful hard to take TJ serious with his top 6 buttons down, wearing a blue ascot.
Oh, it was fucking dope.
He's like giving a really in-depth monologue and trying to be a very serious actor, and he's got like his top 6 buttons down, and his chest hair is just poofing out with a blue fucking ascot around his neck. And then there's just a gap of probably about 20 minutes where I wasn't even watching the movie
fuck
anymore.
Off.
And then I just wrote, what the fuck? It was Axel all along. What a garbage origin.
Garbage origin. Man. Okay.
I'm sorry, folks. That's my feels.
All right.
All in all, I don't think it's a horrible movie. But it is a product of
Well, you know what?
And it's one of those movies that it's kind of fun to watch and shit
Okay,
on.
well, why don't you just give your final thoughts on the damn movie then, if that's what you're going to do.
It's a good movie. G for good.
G for good. All right.
Yep.
All right. So, I love this movie. We've said this many times before. It is a nostalgic fare. You know, maybe I do look at it with rose-colored glasses, but it's like that with almost any horror movie that you would have watched when you were young, whether from the 70s or the 80s or whatever have you. Man, I can look back on a very large amount of horror movies that are absolute considered masterpieces and look at them and say, why the fuck do we even like the way that looks or feels, you know? Right down to Dawn of the Dead and the fucking Blue Zombies. You know what I mean? Like, the movie's a masterpiece, but fucking Blue Zombies, it's weird.
I liked it.
Not everybody does, but I mean, once again, it's all in how you look at it, right? So this movie appeals to me in a lot of ways. It is a Nova Scotia flick. It is classic maritime fare. I feel for the situation and the characters and how they act in small town mindsets and everything else. I grew up in fucking small town, you know, areas. But all in all, I love the characters. Not specifically all the characters from the movie that we see, but like I love the idea of the characters, and I love Harry Warden. I think he's a good character. I really do. His origin story is kind of bullshitty. It is kind of stupid, but the whole fact that it is a masked killer, and it's a pretty badass masked character in my opinion. I'm sorry, if he comes at you in a fucking dark alley and he's got that fucking miner's mask and a pickaxe and that light in your fucking face, you're gonna shit a brick. Like, there's no doubt about it.
Breathing like Darth Vader.
Exactly. Yeah. So it is cool. I mean, I was to the point last year I found a guy out in Alberta that I was gonna buy a fucking exact and identical actual fucking mask from, but he ended up selling it to somebody else before I had the fucking funds to it. Like, I was gonna do a fucking cosplay on this and everything. It's a movie that I'll revisit, and I'll revisit it every year. And I showed it to the wife years ago, and she even likes it. You know, it's not an overly it's not an overly gruesome. It's not an overly scary movie. It's just got certain scenes to it, and she kind of feels in a lot of the same way too. It's one of those ones that she'll watch, and she made me, in honor of Valentine's Day last year, she made me the bloody heart, you know, for Valentine's. So, you know, keep that on my desk. All in all, this movie is high quality. This is a movie that I recommend to people. What?
Just how you like, and I'm going to keep it on my desk.
I keep it on my desk.
Just how you did. I don't know why that struck
just
me
keep
funny.
it on my desk. This is a movie that I recommend to everybody. No doubt about it. If I ever hear, you know, a horror fan say that they've never seen it, I'm like, do yourself a fucking favor. Just watch the fucking thing. It's amazing. So with that, I give this an R rating. Recommended. Tim?
I share a lot of the same sentiments, Adam. A lot. I love this movie because of, you know, it's very much a product of early 80s slasher movies. It was done at a time when there wasn't an oversaturation of memorable 80s slasher movies. I feel that this movie helped propel, this type of movie and these types of antagonists of, the slasher killer. Because there were so many, like I said, there were so many kills that reminded me of Jason Voorhees and other things after that. One of the things that I did like was the aesthetic choice of him being in a full miner's getup, specifically later on in the movie when they're all running around. TJ's in one, Axel's in one. Like, you don't know, like, it's got to be one of these, or it's someone else dressed in that guy. Like, I liked it. It's far from a perfect movie. Fuck, like, there's parts that are absolutely terrible, but that's part of what makes it awesome. I thought the kills in this were top notch, specifically for a low budget horror movie that was made in fucking Cape Breton, Nova Scotia. I like it. But it's one of those movies that the more I see it, the more I like it. Like, I disagree with Josh with the rose-colored glasses, because there's quite a lot of movies that I do watch with rose-colored glasses, but this isn't one of them. This is one that, like, I have a growing appreciation for every time I watch it. Obviously I'm rating it R, like, recommended. It's great. It's one of those movies that, it's Valentine's, I'm gonna watch this. Like, I'm excited, right? Like, I haven't watched this in a while, usually a year. Like, I'm excited. It's an hour and a half. It seems longer, but it's literally only an hour and a half.
Seems a whole hell lot longer.
No, it does, but I just look forward to the kills and, just the atmosphere, and I don't know, and maybe it's because I'm from here.
And the Looney Tunes opening when they're all getting in the cars and speeding away. I love it.
Yeah. I really dug it. It's absolutely rated R. But what I'd like to do, there's a lot of trivia for this movie. A lot of trivia. So cue the theme song.
Every time I tell.
All right. I guess that's as best as it's gonna get.
There's the gets, buddy. We got Canadian
send us out with some trivia.
My Bloody Valentine.
Okay, so my favorite, and I said this in our last original episode on this, but I find it so amazing, is, okay, so the director scouted the perfect location of Sydney Mines. He saw this and fucking loved it because of the rustic, atmospheric appearance. However, the locals found out that they're shooting a fucking horror movie here and spent 50 grand to upgrade everything. They get there to shoot, and the town doesn't look like it did when he was there. So they had to spend another 75 grand to revert it back.
I love that.
Something for people that don't live in Nova Scotia may not know, that the majority of small town Nova Scotia is very religious and very, like, Bible thumpers.
Yeah. The film was shot in an actual authentic mine, which often as much as 900 feet underground. Only certain lighting devices could be used in the mines because of the potential danger of methane explosions. Yeah. So it's cool that that's not a set. That's a legit mine, you know? What else there was something else that I saw. In a recent interview, Neil Affleck, the guy who played Axel, revealed that he still has the miner's helmet that he wore in the film.
Cool.
Yeah. Quentin Tarantino, one of my favorite directors of all time, states My Bloody Valentine is his all-time favorite slasher movie.
What the fuck is wrong with him? He just likes being weird.
It's a great slasher movie, though, John.
There's not even any feet stuff in it for him.
Fuck.
Wow.
We're getting a little meta here,
Okay,
Josh.
so this is a juicy juicy piece right here.
Juicy one.
Juicy. It's meaty. I'll be talking for a minute. All right, as the director stated many times, roughly 9 minutes of footage have been cut from My Bloody Valentine to secure an R rating instead of an X by the MPAA. In result, most of, not all, the gory scenes have been cut by the MPAA because of the backlash against Friday the 13th and John Lennon's murder. So they're trying to be, tasteful. In 2009, a special edition of the film was released with most of the gory footage put back in the film. The only footage missing is an on-screen impalement of Michael and Harriet. So basically the two that were kissing on the bunk, apparently they had a very Friday the 13th through the bed impalement, which was done before Friday the 13th. Was that part 2 or part 3 that happened? Yeah. So it would have been the same time. And I mean, they both stole it from fucking Bay of
Blood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They also, when John discovers Sylvia's corpse, there was originally supposed to be a shot of water coming through Sylvia's mouth, turning blood red, which was said to have deteriorated over years. So the film doesn't actually exist anymore. Even through a still of Sylvia can still be seen online, and it's very fake looking, like the fucking dummy. So they basically just said it was a dummy. It looked very fake. Despite 6 minutes of footage remaining missing, the director said those 6 minutes were only exploratory footage, like character development and non-scary scenes, and not gory footage at all. He says the 93-minute version is 80 to 85% on its way to how it was meant to be, and it's the way the movie's meant to be seen, even despite the grainy quality of the cut footage. So the version that we've watched, I don't know, did you watch the?
No idea.
Yeah. The pickaxe through the eye. Mm-hmm. You saw that. You don't remember that? Then you probably watched.
But it might have been one of the 20 minutes that I was looking at the phone.
Yeah, maybe.
Fuck, dude. Fuck.
This I thought was, and I noticed this last night. The caption at the beginning of the movie says Thursday, February 12th.
Yep.
Indicating that the dance would be Saturday the 14th, which means Friday was the 13th.
Mm-hmm.
Which falls between them, and obviously Friday the 13th, 1980 series was also released by Paramount, and both films the plots are very similar.
It was definitely a nod to Friday the 13th,
which I think is awesome, but it wasn't all in your face.
No,
that's why I liked it. It was very subtle. I think. Okay, so this is the last one. Star Neil Affleck, Axel, said the identity of the film's killer was kept secret even from the cast because the filmmakers liked the idea of the mystery being real amongst the actors. However, Affleck figured out that he was the killer after being cast and was being sent for makeup in the effects department for the fake arm that would be ripped off at the end of the movie. The ending, I just want to throw this out there, the ending, I liked it. I thought it was cool how, like, he grabs on to, what was her name? Sarah?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
He grabs onto her, and she's fighting, and it shows him on the other side fucking cutting his arm off.
Yep.
I feel that they shouldn't have had that cutting the arm off thing, because it kind of ruined the surprise when she pulled out and the arm's hanging there. Like, it would have been... It's
better
just
if she pulled the arm and then you saw him with the saw.
Yeah, just at the end, fucking pulling it off or whatever. And the only other thing that I didn't like was the over-the-top, laughing at the end. Like,
Be my
you know,
bloody
I'm gonna get-
I'll
Valentine.
get you all later.
Yeah, like if he would have just got up and ran away, awesome. I didn't like the little voiceover as he was running away. It was a little too over the top because, you know, most of the movie he was not like that. But one of my favorite scenes was the reveal that it was Axel, and like how he acted so deadpan when the helmet gets taken off. And yeah, I like that. But anyways, yeah, that's all I got.
Well, it's pretty cool because, I mean, you know, keeping it secret from the cast and the crew as to who the actual killer was, I mean, that more than explains why they actually had somebody else entirely play the miner and Harry Warden in the costume. And he's credited entirely as a different person. So all the death and killing scenes with Harry Warden, or the miner as it were, was an entirely different person. So that's good. I like that they did that. So cool.
Oh.
Guys, great episode. Great revisitation.
It was.
And thank you, Josh, for not totally killing the fucking movie, but you know.
No, it was a good movie. Don't get me wrong.
All right. So with that, everybody, thank you for tuning in, and please check us out on Facebook. Like, subscribe to it, you know, and follow us on the Misunderstood Art Company page, and check us out on YouTube, which you're probably watching this on right now anyway. Subscribe to the page. We do live episodes, so if you subscribe, whenever we go live, you'll get a notification saying, "Hey, fucking Daycast from the Coast is live."
Unless, also, you should hit the little notification bell.
You gotta hit the little notification bell
To
to
know.
know. That's right.
Ding.
And check us out on Patreon. We have a Patreon page up and running. So check us out on Patreon and open up your hearts and your wallets. And
that's the wallet.
You can look at the little moth fly out of Tim's imaginary wallet.
That's right.
It's imaginary and real.
Imaginary and real. So until next time,
it hurts a little bit. How real.
Until next time, Josh.
Well, after that film, all I can say is that I'm off for a beer and a good nose pick.
Off for a beer and a good nose pick. Tim.
Stay spooky, everybody.
Until next time, everybody. Take care. See you later.
Good night.